Hello, people. My name is Detroit Miracle, and I am here to talk about the death of Tupac Shakur. Yes, we know when Tupac was shot for the second time in Las Vegas, it threw the whole country into a type of shock. But at the same time, they weren't shocked because people said that, oh, it's Tupac, he was shot again, so he'll probably pull through just like before. People thought that about Tupac. Some looked at him as being invincible or nearly indestructible because he was shot at least 5 times before. And then when you see him without his shirt off, he doesn't appear to have any bullet wounds or scarring from the wounds. I know he had tattoos all over his body, but nevertheless, he looked like those he looked like those wounds did not cause him any serious damage to his body. So when we get to the fact that he actually died, yeah, many, if not all, found it to be shocking and incredibly surprising. Now, there have been theories about Tupac's death as well as what led up to his death. There are people who believe that he was set up to be murdered, a part of some conspiracy. Yeah, there are people that theorize that, well, his record company wanted him dead because Tupac Shakur was about to leave and go somewhere else. So when the artist decides to go do his own thing or sign with another record label, then his previous company can make no more money off of him. So some would theorize that that was a motivation for his record company having him silenced or killed. Yeah, there are other theories, like the one that said Tupac wanted to fake his own death, so he set that whole thing up in order to disappear and get away unscathed. Then, with that being the case, then Tupac believed his life was in danger, so he had to make some kind of great escape and get away before he really was harmed. Yeah, and what credits that as being a sound theory is there are checks being cashed from Tupac Shakur's estate, and his estate has accumulated tremendously since his death. You know the saying, when a famous musician dies, in some cases he sells more records than when he was actually alive. Yeah, or male or female musician, I have to be fair there. So Tupac has made tens of millions of dollars since his untimely demise, and there are people cashing checks from his estate. So it is a sound theory to think that if Tupac faced his own death, then he would still accumulate money and he would be able to live well on some distant tropical island. But it's only a theory. Now, there are, or is, and in fact, beliefs that Tupac's death resulted from a fight at the casino. So people are rationally logical, sane, and grounded to think that way because things like that are the case. If you get into a fight with somebody earlier on, then later on they may come back and do something to you. Yes, that has happened and has been a case so many times and is undeniably proven. So that is taking his murder as it is. Tupac got into a fight with somebody or he jumped somebody, which was a known LA gang member, and then that same gang member sought retaliation and came after Tupac and subsequently shot him. And then Tupac died 6 days later. Now, that is a rational conclusion that many people believe, which has nothing to do with a conspiracy theory. Now, the theory that states that maybe his record label boss wanted to silence him or kill him so that he could receive residuals from Tupac's album sales for all eternity, it doesn't hold up either, because his record label boss was sitting right next to him on the driver's side. No one would take that type of risk to have somebody killed while they are in fact sitting close by to them, because it would be incredibly dumb. We all know that bullets have no number or name on them, so they'll hit anybody. Now, getting back to the theory that people believe regarding Tupac possibly faking his own death. And that is a commonly believed theory for many artists who have passed on or died, even those that might have died under stranger sets of circumstances. Yeah, you've all heard it. Oh, such and such, he faked his own death. She faked her own death. They're not really dead. And that is a belief by people, because those artists, those entertainers are larger than life to those people. They are much more significant and relevant and incredible than the people deem themselves to be, that which are regular people. So no one wants to think that their favorite entertainer can die, especially under mysterious circumstances. So no one would think or want to believe that Tupac could be murdered. Yes, and with Tupac, his entourage consisted of 10 carloads of dudes, and some of them had pistols, and this entourage included off-duty police officers as well as LA gang members. And then it's a conspiracy involving Tupac's off-duty police officer guards that weren't allowed to carry their guns in Vegas. And that sounds incredibly strange, that a police officer would be prevented from carrying his firearm. So those things like that, which seem and sound strange, sort of feeds into that theory of Tupac faking his death. Yeah. Now, getting back to people that believe that Tupac was actually murdered because of gang retaliation or some gang beef, that is incredibly sound there to believe that he was murdered. And I think that that is the case where he jumped somebody and then the guy came back. It makes sense because, for one, I don't think Suge Knight would want to take that type of risk and do that to Tupac, because he liked Tupac. There was numerous witnesses on stories to say him and Tupac were like brothers. They were close, and Tupac showed no signs of wanting to leave Death Row. So Tupac would have made money for Death Row for somehow years. It might be 10 years, it might be 15 years. But eventually Tupac would have left and got his own company, but not right away. And as far as Tupac faking his own death, Tupac, like many other famous celebrities, loved being in the limelight. They loved fan appreciation. They loved celebrity status. So Tupac didn't appear to be the type of guy that would fake his own death and go away and live some quiet life away from eyes on some island, even if that would be the way to obtain calmness, peace, and serenity. Just like when people are saying other celebrities fake their own death. Like to be famous, to be popular, to be appreciated by millions is a drug. It is an ultimate drug. So why would those such great entertainers just say, "Hey, I'm gonna throw that all away and fake my own death and go away and let the people believe that I'm dead"? That doesn't make any sense. There. Now with the fact that Tupac being murdered, or many believing that he was actually killed because of the Orlando Anderson thing, it holds up. And the fact was, I think Tupac should have had better protection. I don't know if more men would have kept him from being shot, not under those set of circumstances, with him sitting on the passenger side of a car in an open window where anyone can identify him and say, "Look, that's Tupac in the car, I see him." I think Tupac should have been in a SUV vehicle with like 4 people in there, with him not sitting on the passenger side, with him maybe in the back seat, and the tinted glass is so where no one can identify who's in there. I think that would have been a proper security. And people are saying it's a big thing going around social media where it says if Tupac would have had more security guards, that would have kept him alive. Wrong. There was at least 30 dudes in cars behind Tupac and Suge. They had the entire death row entourage with them. So they had more than enough guys to protect Tupac, but he just didn't follow the right protocols. He shouldn't have been in a passenger side of a car, and even Suge Knight shouldn't have been driving a car like that, because anybody can drive up and shoot into it. Okay, folks, let me know how you feel about this video message film. And I'd appreciate it if you would give me those likes, comments, and please subscribe to my channel, Detroit Miracle.